Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where today we are talking about a Manchester United win. That's right, a Manchester United win. Before we get into the video, get in the comments down below and give me a 3-word review for that performance, for the importance of that 3 points, whatever. Manchester United won this game. Was it a great performance? No. Did I completely understand what Ten Hag was trying to do tactically? Truthfully, no. Were Burnley the better side for parts of the game? Yes. But United players produced in big moments when they needed to and got the win, and that was the most important thing in this game, because United's record recently has of course been terrible. This squad is hit massively with injuries. I mean, just look at this starting 11. If you told me the day that Ten Hag took over that within 18 months we would see a back four of Reguilon, Johnny Evans, Lindelof and Dalot, I probably would have just cried there and then. Let alone Scott McTominay still in the midfield and someone like Hannibal, who isn't that established in the midfield as well. This was a real makeshift starting 11 from United. Of course, Reguilon even got injured or illness during the game, so that's another hit to the squad. That's why this 3 points was so important. However, whilst the 3 points was crucial, the performance was still poor, and that was a concern. So my question to you guys also is, as we're going to talk through this, do you criticise Ten Hag for the tactics in this game? Or was it a case of, because of the players he had available, he was so limited? McTominay and Casemiro cannot control a football match because neither of them are good first phase receivers. Neither of them receive kind of side on to turn with the ball. So was Ten Hag almost playing with his hands behind his back in this game? Let's talk through it and let's see what happened. United, as we would expect, with Andre Onana in goal, tried to build a ball out from the back. And were able to do so quite decently. You know, Burnley would often press in more of a 4-4-2. We'd see Brownhill squeeze a little bit higher like this. Burnley were happy to squeeze a little bit higher up the pitch, as we know they like to do under Vincent Kompany. They're trying to put pressure on the ball, trying to win the ball back as high as possible. However, like I said, United were decent at playing the ball out in this first phase, simply because Onana, as we always know, kind of creates this back three with the two centre-backs, allowing them to outnumber most teams which are going to press them. From here, United were able to get on the ball with the centre-backs. What we saw was McTominay and Casemiro then pushing further forward in midfield. The fullbacks, of course, push a little bit further forward, like this. Pretty basic shape. Casemiro is, of course, the deepest midfielder. McTominay is a little bit higher. Hannibal's doing the same. This is the sort of shape which United were going for in possession. But, of course, as United move higher up the pitch, Onana becomes less of an asset in possession because he can only come so far out of his goal. Meaning that it gets to a stage where the centre-backs and the midfielders are now responsible for progressing the ball, and this is where United had a huge problem. Because Lindelof, if you go through the stats in this game, did not record a single progressive pass, which is terrifying. Johnny Evans isn't a good progressive passer. I know he got that beautiful pass for the goal, but in general it's not his game. He isn't Lisandro Martinez in the way that he progresses the ball. You've got Casemiro in midfield, who isn't the sort of player which constantly wants to drop deep and dictate possession. It's something he's never really done in his career. And Scott McTominay, who has a habit and a reputation really for hiding from the ball in midfield. This makes it really difficult to play the ball forward. I also thought the forwards at times were a little bit static. We could have seen a bit more movement from someone like Bruno Fernandes off the ball, from Rasmus Højlund, from Marcus Rashford. But United was stuck here for real large parts of the game, particularly in the first half. A lot of the first half was United playing the ball up from the back, getting to this position, because Burnley are pressing with their front two. They can put a bit of pressure on the centre-back, and they had nowhere really to go, because McTominay wasn't making enough of an effort to get into these areas here. Casemiro isn't making enough of an effort to get on the ball here, and then someone dropping to receive the next pass. It was really disjointed in the midfield for United in this game, and it made the centre-backs look really bad. I still think the centre-backs could have done more in possession, particularly Lindelof was so safe. So sideways with his passing, it was a bit of a joke. He has to be a bit more expansive at times. But basically, what this led to in possession was United play out from the back, they get to the centre-backs, they look forward, they stand there, they be patient on the ball, a bit almost like what Brighton tried to do. They were trying to draw Burnley onto them, but two things happened. Burnley weren't really falling for that bait, they weren't getting drawn out, but also the United players were just not moving in midfield, which meant that the centre-backs had no one to pass to. So what happens is Burnley kind of eventually apply their pressure. The ball goes back to Onana. He takes a couple of touches on the ball. He's kind of got the same issue. Both his centre-backs are going to get marked. The midfielders aren't really going to make enough of a movement to avoid markers. Onana doesn't really have anywhere to go. So he sends the ball long. He sends the ball long towards Rasmus Højlund, who we know is still raw in these duels. He had success in some of them, others not so much. What I did like was that he was always challenging the ball, but the problem was there was no second ball. So Rasmus Højlund was going up, he's winning his first ball, but then 9 times out of 10, the ball's fallen back into here. Burnley are first on the ball, able to get the ball and play football and then move forward. And that was United's major problem throughout this game, and it's why United had so little threat. Bruno Fernandes could have done a bit more to kind of get on the ball in this game, possibly, but we know this is the case when he plays on the right wing. He doesn't get on the ball as much because he's out wide. Rasmus Højlund had a lot of opportunities in this game to try and make something happen in transition, but his passing was just poor, his technical play was poor, his weight of pass was poor, and pass selection weren't great. But, you know, again, he's raw. Most of the game he was feeding off scraps. Marcus Rashford, as always, tried to take on his fullback and get into forward areas, but weren't great at it. He was okay. He had moments where he played really well, moments where not so much. This was really disjointed all round, really, from United. But I think what we have to say is give the team a little bit of leeway, because just look at this starting 11. McTominay was awful. Absolutely horrendous. What's worse is what he does off the ball as well. We'll come on to that. Casemiro was a bit more improved with his passing. He didn't give it as well as much. But still, again, he's not someone who wants to drop deep and dictate the game. United had no player here to go grab the ball, and that was a real problem. So, yeah, United kind of trundled their way through the game in possession. The big threat they did have was when Burnley came forward and United looked to counter-attack. Hannibal showed good moments of ball carrying in transition, kind of striding forward through the midfield. The problem was his weight of pass wasn't always perfect for the counter-attack, as we've already said with Rasmus Højlund. All round, it was disjointed in possession for United. It also wasn't perfect out of possession either. So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order. So out of possession, United done something which I've been suggesting recently, and that's not going for the high press, but instead going for more of a mid-block, sitting off in more of a 4-2-3-1 shape, which means that when Trafford has the ball in goal, the team isn't going to go crazy high, super aggressive on the press. They seemed a bit more content and a bit more happy with Burnley having the ball. However, as we'll see, that didn't necessarily mean that United were compact, and United was still played through far too easily. And probably the gist you're getting from this video is that United were not very good in this game. They may have won 1-0, but it was not very good at all. However, Burnley are going to play the ball up from the back, and the first thing they want to do is invert their two fullbacks, Taylor and Roberts, a little narrower, and it's going to bring Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes in with them. Now, like I said, United aren't being particularly aggressive at this moment in time, but already we can see United being overloaded and outnumbered in this area, because Burnley have 5 players here, up against United's 4 players. Which means that when Burnley connect their passes well, they are able to play out from the back. Now, the problem for Burnley was, unfortunately, and I don't mean to disrespect the players here, they just don't have the star quality. They don't have that real top quality, so occasionally they're trying to play this nice football, trying to build possession from the back, but they do have mistakes in this area, and there were a few occasions where Hannibal would win the ball well, and United were able to go from there, so that was good to see, but I feel like it was more of a weakness from Burnley. Largely, though, from a tactical point of view, Burnley created the overload in these areas, and were able to move the ball forward. And the reason they were able to move the ball forward was because, let's say it's going to go like this. Rasmus Højlund is going to curve his run and come across. Something like this. But the ball's going to go into midfield. The setback pass is going to get played. Rashford is now going to try press. Burnley having that extra man, they can just always work it. Now they carry the ball forward. And this is where your midfielders start to get dragged about a little bit. Especially when you have Scott McTominay, who might be the least intelligent man at the football club. His understanding of how to defend is extraordinarily bad. He's bad in possession, right? He doesn't free himself up. He doesn't make himself a passing option, and he's really not expansive with his passing at all. But what we expect from Scott McTominay is out of possession, hard work. And I think the more you watch McTominay, you see that you do get hard work, but it's running for the sake of it. And most of the running he has to do is because his positioning has been bad. The amount of times Ramsey was escaping him in these areas is laughable, really. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Of course, Burnley also have the overload now because United have been played through initially, so someone like Roberts can step forward with the ball and almost make it a midfield 3 up against the United 2. That was a big problem. To be fair to Hannibal, I thought he'd done an absolutely incredible job of getting back and doing his defensive work in this game. I thought Hannibal was up there with probably top 3 performers for United in this game. He'd have been in my top 3 for man of the match. I think The way that he physically applied himself to this game was absolutely brilliant. There's a situation in the 87th minute where Burnley have the ball on the edge of the box. They're trying to get the shot off. Hannibal is there, closing them down with intensity, but also physicality. Compare that to what we're seeing from Christian Eriksen in recent weeks on the 15th minute. For Hannibal to be doing it on the 87th minute in his first start was absolutely brilliant to see, and I thought he was really good. And he was so good, I'm tempted to do a video just looking at him, because I thought he put in a really, really good performance and helped United massively from a defensive point of view. And that would be probably my one praise for United in this game. I didn't think United were very good at all. A few players were standout good individuals. We'll talk about that in a second. But the thing we did see from United in this game was, it sounds so basic to say, but actually effort. And it seemed like there was actually a bit of heart in that performance. Casemiro seemed a bit more like last season's Casemiro, where he was winning more duels. Yes, he's still getting caught out from being too aggressive at times, but there seemed to be a bit more bite in that midfield last night. A bit more of an effort to put a challenge in and win the ball. Bruno Fernandes on the right-hand side was working his backside off to make sure that he was covering for his players. Rashford had a bit more defensive work rate, still not good enough. Højlund was working hard, constantly running, constantly putting pressure on the ball. It was a more spirited performance. Was it a good performance? No. Like I said, Burnley were able to play through this mid-block for United far too easily. They created half chances. The problem they had was just a lack of true quality in the big moments. That is what they lacked. However, United did at least show a bit more fight about their performance. And that was, honestly, that's the minimum you've got to ask for. We can talk about tactics, we can talk about technical ability, intelligence, things like that. But the bare minimum is to work hard. And we actually saw that from this United team. And it felt more like a team performance. It felt more spirited. It felt more like we attacked with 11 and defended with 11. So, I don't know, am I just clutching at straws here? I think that was a good thing to see. I thought, if we're going into individuals, Johnny Evans was the best player on the pitch. So shout out to Johnny Evans, because, you know, we all frowned at it when he signed for the club. We all kind of went, we saw him in the starting 11, but he was absolutely brilliant in this game. Absolutely brilliant. So credit to him. Hannibal Mejbri also, his intensity, his athleticism, his physicality was crucial. I don't think United would have got this win without him. If you want me to do a video focusing on him, let me know. We can break down his whole performance. But also Bruno Fernandes. I did not think Bruno Fernandes was great in this game. I thought he was quiet, played on the right wing. When he did get the ball, he wasn't that great with it. He created half chances. Of course, his goal is taken incredibly well. But what impressed me the most about Bruno Fernandes was, this was a captain's performance. When his team needed him, he provided that true bit of quality to put the ball into the back of the net and provide the win. But also, it was the fact that he played right wing for a spell. He played left wing for a spell. There was a spell where he was playing borderline right wing back when Raphael Varane first came onto the pitch. It was arguably right wing back. He played for a couple of minutes there. He then went over to a left-hand side and defended over there. Then back into the middle to defend. This was a proper captain's performance from Bruno Fernandes, in the sense that no matter what position he was asked to play, none of which were his best position, he really put the work in. I'd love to see his ground coverage numbers for this game. His intensity was absolutely brilliant. His work rate was incredible. And I feel like it was that which just about got United over the line for Ten Hag. The work rate from the team was much better. I don't know if Ten Hag has said something in the past few days, but it was much better. In terms of the actual football, Burnley played the better football, were the better side, and probably should have won the football match. But what United had in the big moment was a bit of quality which Burnley didn't have. Individual quality. Individual moment of brilliance is what won United this football match. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have I been a little bit harsh on United, and were they actually a lot better than I'm kind of suggesting? In my opinion, Burnley controlled possession. We know that. We can see it in the numbers. I thought they created the bigger chances. We know that. We can see that in the numbers in terms of XG. But United won the football match, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day. And now, hopefully, moving forward, we can see some players returning from injury. We saw Sofiane Amrabat come on and play left back for a few minutes, so that's a player coming back from injury. Raphael Varane came on from the bench, which is good to see. Hopefully, he can start soon. Ten Hag said Mason Mount was close to being ready for the bench, so again, hopefully, he can come into the side soon. Hopefully, whilst it may have not been a good performance, hopefully this performance, or this result, I should say, sets United up to turn things around over the next couple of weeks. But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. In terms of this match, this video, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.